Hello and welcome to Mee Gindys. And this is a show where we ponder pretty much anything and everything. And by we, I mean myself, Howard Kane.
And me, Beth Espy. And it usually also involves Howard doing some sort of weird challenge, which he inevitably ropes me into.
And if you're not intrigued now, when will you ever be? What else have we got on the programme this week?
Well, I take a look at a statue that commemorates someone who really does think the Isle of Man was key to his life's work. And you've been finding out about something to do with the war.
I have. If you've got a mug saying keep calm and carry on, you wondered where it all came from and indeed how it first came to prominence. Stay tuned because I'm talking to Mr. and Mrs. Keep Calm.
And as ever, if there's anything that you've ever wondered about in the Isle of Man, perhaps you go past a building all the time and you'd love to take a sneaky peek inside, but you haven't been able to, maybe we will be able to find the key. And actually coming up next week, there is something which involves that very thing, actually. We get somebody to show us inside a monument, I suppose you'd call it, that I've walked past many times.
Iconic building.
Yeah. All will be revealed next week. But first of all, I mentioned this memorial to somebody who really felt that the Isle of Man was their spiritual home. And this is all to do with one Joseph Pilates. There was a Pilates lineage weekend over the bank holiday weekend, and some of that took place in Knockalo. Incredible to believe that at one time there were 24,000 people interned there. But I met up with Mo Shering to find out more about this monument, which actually I have to say I've never seen before. We are in the car park of Peel Cathedral and I'm with Mo Shering. Mo, why have you brought me here?
A good question. Basically, to come and have a look at a statue, which we're going to find now, which commemorates Joseph Pilates' time at Knockalo and also Archibald Knox.
Now, the Isle of Man, as you describe it, is the spiritual home of Pilates. Why is that? Just remind us.
Because he was arrested while he was actually teaching Scotland Yard detectives the art of self-defence and sent over to the Isle of Man, where he spent 4 years in Knockalo.
What do we know about his background?
His background, he was a very sickly child and he decided to work on himself. And he studied Eastern and Western methods of fitness. And he actually managed to save people, or the mortality rate went down on the people that were in the camp at the time, and he was credited with saving people because of his routine. And he actually did say that he had enjoyed his time on the Isle of Man, and it gave him time to actually work with people and work on his method.
That's incredible, really, isn't it? And you think what he achieved and what is still practiced nowadays. I mean, obviously, this is something that you really do feel is incredibly important and incredibly beneficial.
We've spotted it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're just walking past the actual cathedral now. We're just walking to the right-hand side. We're going past the War Memorial, heading towards the statue. What is it then, would you say, Mo, about Pilates that makes it so good for you?
Well, I think it can be adapted to most people. So it's not like a set routine that, like you go to a gym or something. And I specialise mostly in remedial Pilates, which we tend to work one way or the other. Pilates teacher, like a friend of mine who is a dancer, and she does, we trained with the same guy, but she's slightly different interpretation to me. So, but I particularly work with people who need a little bit of help.
And is that sort of physical ailments generally, sort of muscular things like that?
Yes, and a bit of mental.
Really? So you can help that side?
Yes, I think it can, because it then sort of helps you to sort of adjust mentally so that you can then work out physically.
And how long have you been practising Pilates?
Oh, crumbs. That's a long time, probably around about 20 odd years.
Really?
I was the first person on the island to teach Pilates. People didn't even know what it was. Quite a lot of people called it pilots.
Oh gosh, so here we are. We're just walking across the grass here. Wow, this is quite incredible. And you know, I live in Peel. I didn't even know this was here, I'm ashamed to say. Shall we read what it says on the centre bit here? This was actually unveiled by Claire Christian, OBE, on the 6th of April 2017. It says Knockalo IOM. And if we just go round the other side here, Aliens Detention Camp. The sculptor was Angela Patchett. And it's quite incredible. Actually, when you look at it, the more you look at it, the more you see. I mean, how would you describe this?
One enemy alien who today has a global reputation, Joseph Pilates, one member of the camp staff has a global reputation, Archibald Knox. The sculpture designed incorporated a sense of movement associated with Joseph Pilates, featuring a celebration, the decorative artwork of Archibald Knox.
And you can see the symbolism of the barbed wire.
That's it.
In twisted silver there, just over the top.
It says within the constraints of the internment, German-born Joseph Pilates invented exercise that now used the world over. It is believed that the relatively low mortality rate in the camp was due to exercise by internees. Pilates dedicated his entire life to improving his physical strength and mental well-being through exercise and breathing technique. And Archibald Knox was born and raised in the Isle of Man. He was employed at the camp as a censor. He is best known for his Celtic Revival-style metalwork designed for Liberties and Company.
Gosh, that's amazing. But if we look around the bottom here, so it's a sort of an oval shape made out of bronze, I think, part of this
material
statue.
Bronze, yeah.
And the ceramic tiles created by school pupils.
Based on the designs of Archibald Knox.
There's also hand-painted bricks created by Cathedral, Isle of Man parish groups and the Isle of Man prison art students. And these are all based on fables associated with each of the gardens which surround the structure. This is just amazing. And the enamel brooch by Archibald Knox is the main
Which is absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Really is.
It's stunning, actual, I do hope people will come and see it now when they know it's here. It's very easy to find, isn't it, Beth?
It is, yeah. You just need to park in the car park, find the war memorial and then follow your nose, really. What an incredible piece of work. And so peaceful in this garden, isn't it?
Absolutely peaceful. And I think it's absolutely a lovely tribute to both of them, really, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. And what do we know about Joseph Pilates once he left the internment camp?
Well, he went back to Germany and he was asked to train the German army, and he was a pacifist, so he decided not to, and he went off to America and opened up his studio in New York, and he actually called his method controlology. And it only became to be known as Pilates when he started to train or work with the ballerinas and things from the New York Ballet, who were always injuring themselves. So they used to say to each other, "You must go and see Pilates," and that's how it came to be known as Pilates.
How wonderful. Did he live a long life?
He did. He was 86 or something. I think it was 86 when he died. And the story is, I'm not quite sure whether it's true or not, but apparently his studio went on fire and he went back in and got pneumonia.
Oh my goodness me.
Wow.
Wow, the bells there in
nice.
the background.
The bells are ringing for us.
Well, Mo, thank you so much for bringing me here. I'm so pleased that I found this. As you say, I do hope some other people now will come and see it.
Yes, it's such a spectacular memorial to both of them, isn't it?
It really is.
I had an interview with the only lady that's still alive that was trained by Joseph, and I asked her if he ever mentioned the Isle of Man, and she said yes, he did. He loved the Isle of Man, and he said it gave him time to work on his method and work with people. And I visited his studio in New York when I was there. The lady who owns it now, the Pilates teacher who owns it now, is actually coming. She's staying with me for a couple of days out, so I will bring her here and show her.
Ah, yes, indeed. Well, you know what? I haven't been there either, which is rather embarrassing, because I've known Mo for years and did some yoga training with her. And you know what? I haven't seen it either, the memorial. I know about Joseph Pilates and Knockalo and how he came up with the I can never even say it. I keep calling it contrology, but Mo said it was No.
Yeah. Let's just call it Pilates.
Contrology, but it's Pilates now, either way.
Yeah, and this is literally just down the road from my house, and what a beautiful spot. I've got some photographs of it, which we'll put on the Manx Radio Facebook page, but if you have the time, I would highly recommend you go and see it, because it's a crucial part of our social history.
It is. I think it's one of those ones where it has had some traction of late, if you'll excuse a slight pun with that. But it's got more recognition now. And did you see BBC the other day, funnily enough, when I was working over the weekend, I think on Saturday morning, and they said, yes, they were doing a whole piece down there after the weekend, I think Bank Holiday Monday, and talking and giving some credit and recognition to Joseph Pilates and the fact he came up with this worldwide system here on the Isle of Man. Well, of course, you're listening to Mee Gindys here on Manx Radio. Where else would you find such joys? And Beth mentioned at the beginning some little challenges we like to do from time to time. I don't know whether they're challenges or basically it's another I Wonder effort. And sort of, we started off with the classic egg in a bottle, which was a great success. I don't know if the video's still up. We had a fair degree of success with that one.
I think you might be remembering that with rose-tinted glasses, my love. I don't think it was an entire success, that one, but we'll go with it.
I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, here's another one which I'd often pondered about. I know I'd seen it before. We're going back to the 70s with this one, and into your kitchen, in fact.
So, here we are in my kitchen, and it's a little bit early for that, isn't it, Howard? It's only, 9:30 in the morning? What's happening here?
It's never too early for it. It's what we're going to try and do is pondering, and it's one I have wondered about. Can you actually do this one where you make your own lava lamp? You remember the lava lamps from the 70s?
I've got one upstairs, actually.
You've got one. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We should have brought it down, shouldn't we? Put it side by side. So can you make your own homemade one with nothing more than, it's not actually Echo Falls wine, it's just some tap water in a bottle, some oil, a bit of food colouring, and some salt. It's like Blue Peter, isn't it? Fantastic.
It is a little bit. Okay.
Well, let's see. I don't know whether this works. We'll try. So we'll fill this glass, right, so 2/3 with water. Let's hope this works. And then we'll try and put a bit of food colouring. Yeah.
And what colour have we gone for?
Well, just got a bit of green, so
okay.
Let's just hope this.
Just a little touch of food colouring there.
I think that'd be enough with it.
Right, giving it a stir.
Right, isn't it?
It's okay.
Okay. And then gently pour some oil on the top. And hopefully this should...
Just ordinary olive oil, is it?
This is actually rapeseed oil, but only because I had some oil which is out of date, so I'm hoping this will be fine. So I thought, well, may as well waste not, want not.
Oh.
And this should float, of course, because it's light.
There it goes.
Okay.
Looks quite lava lamp already, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Just thinking that.
Did you have a lava lamp?
You know what? I always wanted one. Never got one. I have thought about it afterwards and thought, because they came back again, they were all in the 70s, whatever, and I thought, wow, wasn't the sort of thing Mum and Dad were into. And I was like, yeah, I used to love it if we went to someone's house with a lava lamp. Never got one. Right, now then, the moment of truth. Now we put a good wodge of salt in. That sinks to the bottom. Then hopefully it then starts to sort of release air and we get a little sort of lava lamp type approach. Right, is it working?
I think so. There's little bits going up very slowly. Look at that. If you added more salt, would it get more?
I don't know. Oh yeah, it's beginning
it's
to go.
Working.
Quite slow, but...
Yeah. Meditative. Whack some more salt in, see what happens.
Right. Let's see then.
It's just going to explode over the table. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh.
That's getting a bit more of a...
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And the scientific reason behind this is...
It's just the air bubble. I mean, obviously the oil's lighter than the water, which is why it floats on the top. The salt is denser, so it sinks down, and then it's got the water bubbles in between, and so the water, bits of air in between the salt, I think, so they pop up and come out. Now, it's just about working.
Yeah. Another thing to amaze your friends with.
It is another one. One last one we can try just before we go is see we put A few drops of just oiling on its own.
Some food colouring in. I'm not sure they're going to rise again, are they? Oh, are they?
They're meant to. Let's see if they do pop back up again. That might not work.
I think you've ruined it now.
Have I killed it?
It was beautiful.
Hey, well, there's a couple coming up.
And
well, there's one more lot of salt and just see.
yeah, just thrash it all in.
In for a penny.
Well, the general idea is there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of working. Yeah. You get a few. There's a
Looks
few going
pretty.
there now. Oh, that's coming up there. Now look at that.
There we go.
So I don't know whether it's ever actually going to replace the lava lamp on your sideboard. And there's always the temptation, if you have children, they'll drink it, which probably wouldn't kill them, you know. It'd be interesting vomit.
But still, not bad.
Well, not bad, not bad. It's sort of, we'll give that one a half success. It's pretty good. I've seen it on YouTube, and it's not quite as dramatic as YouTube. But you know, you never know with these things.
Worth getting out of bed for, Howard.
There's a good. Worth getting out of bed for. Just. Can I have a shower now? Well, it sort of worked, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was good. It was good. I would be amazed by that if I saw it, I'm sure, at someone's house.
One way or another.
Yeah.
There are some more dramatic ones, but it's always, we've got to think health and safety, obviously, because you never know what little kiddie winkies might be watching and think, I'll have a go. So you've got to keep it fairly safe. And we've also got to think about not setting fire to your kitchens and other elements as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Now then, have you got a mug, a Keep Calm mug, or a Keep Calm poster?
I've got a Keep Calm and Carry On running T-shirt.
Ah, there you go, you see. And do you know the history of it?
I don't.
Well, I'm always going to be a reveal because it comes back from the Second World War, which you might well recognise. There's an original poster, Keep Calm and Carry On, which is on the wall of a wonderful place called the Barter Books in Alnwick, which great place to go. If you go, Alnwick is lovely. The Barter Books is a wonderful, put a day aside. They have around 350,000 second-hand books on their shelves. Worth a wander. And on the wall behind the counter, you will see the original Keep Calm and Carry On poster. And it all goes back to Stuart and Mary Manley, who are the directors and owners, and Mary's the founder of Barter Books in Alnwick. And they were on the Isle of Man recently, and I bearded them up to Manx Radio Towers for a quick chat and asked them just how did this all come about?
It's one of those flukes in life where things happen. It has indeed grown to be a gigantic worldwide thing, but back in 2000 when I first discovered it, it was basically at the bottom of a box of books. Now we buy books in auction, and this box of books, which had rather poor-looking books in it, had lain around for actually a couple of months, and no one would get round to doing it. And I thought, well, I'll do it. And sure enough, the books were pretty ropey. But at the bottom, folded up, was this little poster, and I opened out and saw for the first time since 1939 the slogan, Keep Calm and Carry On. And I thought it looked terrific. So I showed it to Mary, and she said, hey, that looks terrific. She had it framed, and up it went in the bookshop.
What appealed about it to you, Mary? What was it that sort of spoke to you?
Well, what was just wonderful, really, and I think it's part and parcel of the poster, is the moment I took a look at it, and I'm an American. The validity of it as a genuine World War II poster was somehow obvious. Even I recognized the graphic, very simple graphic design of the crown of King George VI. And then this stark message, keep calm and carry on, immediately appealed because to an American, and indeed anybody, I think, outside Britain, it could only have been devised, I think, in Britain, in England. And I just loved it. It really spoke of the English spirit at that time and has since spoken to people around the world.
It has. And I think the irony of it is that, as I understand it, the poster itself, the Keep Calm and Carry On, it was one of a series of 3, I think, which were produced during the darkest hours of the last war in order to try and sort of to bolster sort of moral spirit in the country, which I'm sure it very much needed. But am I right in saying the poster itself might have been printed in millions but never actually sort of run out at the end of the day?
Not quite true. Indeed, it was one of three, and the others which were distributed were your courage, your freedom will see us through, and defend it with all your might. And these apparently were so badly received by the British public, you're patronising and so forth. They really hated them. There was letters to the Times about it. That Keep Calm was never officially distributed. It actually went out throughout the country, but wasn't actually, the command didn't go to put it up. Now, we have photographic evidence that one or two did get put up, so it wasn't totally not displayed, but mostly it wasn't. And therefore, the bulk of the ones that were printed eventually simply got pulped. They were never actually used. And there it lay, apart from a few copies in the Imperial War Museum, which were tucked in a drawer and forgotten. It stayed unknown for the next 20-odd years until we discovered it in our bookshop, and up it went.
And so then, how did the journey happen from the one original, still on the wall at Barter Books, to this now, I don't know, it's worldwide phenomenon, it's certainly Britain-wide. Like I said, you can see it on pretty much anything you want. There's probably scarcely a household that won't have some sort of keep calm, carry on, or a variation on such, or keep on digging, keep calm and do yoga, you name it, you know. It's been parodied somewhere along the line.
Yes.
How did it transfer to being such a household slogan now?
Basically, once it was up on display, the next phenomenon was people wanted to buy it from us. Well, we just found it. We weren't going to sell it. And I suggested to Mary, well, perhaps we should make copies of it for the customers. And she said, oh, no, we mustn't spoil the purity of the photograph.
Well, something
of the poster.
something like that.
Something like that. So anyway, Mary went away on holiday, and I secretly had some printed.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
And put them on sale. And by the time she came back, I was able to give her the sales figures. And suddenly the purity went, or whatever it was that was holding her back. But even then, it hadn't fully spread, but what happened now was we did have them for sale, very popular, but only in a sort of local and regional sense. So another 2 or 3 years went by without much happening, until Susie Steiner of The Guardian stumbled across it and wrote an article about it and put it in that December's colour supplement as one of her 10 favourite things. And then all hell broke loose.
It did, yes.
The entire bookshop had to be put over to packing posters all over the world. They went to embassies in Sudan and what have you.
Hospitals, Parliament.
That is when it took off. And of course, then the next phenomenon was the parodies, the copies, and I must admit, it was worldwide, not just nationwide. But by the time you go and find and pick up a mug saying "Keep calm and carry on," and you see "Made in China" on the bottom of it, you know it's gone worldwide, and that's what happened.
That is amazing.
Yes,
and
yes.
do you ever pinch yourselves and think, how did it come here, or really wonder just why it has become such a popular phenomenon? Is it just, do you think it's just the sort of the simplicity of the slogan, the link with the last war, the sort of beauty of the original typeface, its sort of its ability to be parodied so readily? Do you ever wonder what it is?
Combination of all those, wouldn't you say?
Definitely a combination, and it's something that is attractive to people. Again, we've said worldwide, but there's something intrinsically English about it, if I may say so. Can I? Yep. That speaks to people, and speaks to people in a way that I think sometimes the British themselves tend to forestall any sort of compliments really about themselves, and instead don't take on board how much admired they are for this quality that they have to keep calm and carry on.
It is stiff upper lip, or something. Is it?
It is, and I can't think of any other country that could have produced that poster, and other than this one. I do want to add, Stuart. I do want to add before everybody listening to us thinks, "Oh my God, that must have made you millions." Well, unfortunately, it was out of copyright, so we're not. It didn't make it, but we did all right. And though we're a little bit tired of the parodies, I have to say there is not a time that I don't look at the original one and think, what a good bit of advice, and how good that was.
And my quicker answer for why it was so successful is it was cheaper than antidepressant pills.
Love that.
Love it. It's a great, wonderful couple. It's Stuart and Mary Manley from Barter Books, and the story of Keep Calm and Carry On. So now you know.
And great advice it is as well. So we've reached the point of the programme then where we do keep calm and have a rootle around in Manx Radio's archives. As ever, we literally take it in turns. We go in and we pluck something from one of the shelves. Today, we're going back to Tuesday, February the 21st, 1995, and Mandate programme. We're literally just going to hit this tape at random, Howard.
Hit it.
Short break fares start from just £36 adult return. That's right, as little as £36 return to England or Ireland, and even less for senior citizens and students. And with the car you can enjoy up to 5 days away from just £99 return. Feels good, doesn't it? Now when I snap my fingers, you'll be free to make that good feeling a reality. Steam Packet, a first-class service to man.
In Toto, offer quality and value for money with over 300 kitchens to choose from, along with Vilroy and Bach bathrooms and Christie's luxury fitted bedrooms. Whether your budget's $2,000 or $20,000, In Toto has something for you. Visit them at the Onken Shopping Precinct.
The 7:30 news headlines. Good morning, I'm Alan Quirk. Members of Tynwald go into their monthly meeting today facing an agenda bristling with controversy. They'll be asked to give the go-ahead for building the £5.5 million Peel Heritage Centre, which faces strong opposition. And there'll be a proposal that they should take over the ownership of the Villa Marina from Douglas Corporation. Members will also
Not much changes, does it?
No,
Bit
it's
of
exactly. The Steam Packet's still going.
Yeah.
In Toto still going. Does the news sound any different?
We'll leave that there, shall we? That's all from Mee Gindys this week. Do get in touch if there's anything you're wondering about, and we will return this same time next week.
Cheerio.